I always wanted financial freedom. What is the definition of financial freedom? To be able to afford the things you want when you want. I was tired of going to the restaurant and every time a menu is presented to me, I eat the price, not the food. How many of us have been there before? You walk into a restaurant, you sit down, when they hand you the menu, the first thing you see, you start looking at they call it the right-hand side. You look 10,000, 20,000, 15,000, yes, this one, 2,000. Your pocket is doing what? Dictating for you. I was tired of that situation. I wanted to eat what I want, not what the price dictates. But most importantly, I also wanted time freedom. Time freedom to be able to do the things you want, when you want, with who you want. When I was in Rome, I was asking myself that, Hajara, imagine you had a job. Imagine you're employed in that law firm. Which boss can allow you to be away for 3 weeks and then you come back and they pay you? I remember there's a friend we were with, and every time we took pictures, she said, please don't post. We asked her why. She said, I write to my bosses that I'm sick. There is no way they can see that I'm in Italy. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be able to post without any limitations. There is no way Mr. Elias would call me and say, where are you? I would tell him, I chose network marketing, therefore I chose time freedom. Those things are very important. To be able to wake up and you say, today I'm going to do this, today I'm going to go and do a one-on-one, today I'm going to be able to sell my product, even when you don't appear at the office, as long as you are outside there doing the activities that can be able to bring your money in your pocket. So are we ready to learn? Yes. Are we ready to learn? Yes. And today we are going to be talking about the journey from a dreamer to a go-getter. When I came up with this topic last night, I didn't know that actually the script of today morning was almost talking about the same, because it was talking about goals. But the gentleman who wrote that is SEO, said that your goals are nothing if they are not accompanied by what? By activities. And when I was reading through the script of today, I remember in our team, the League of Extraordinary Diamonds, at the end of December 2024, we had a beautiful evening, we had a cup of coffee, and we told people to write down their goals and dreams of 2025. People sent in their pictures. We even had a special group where I said, if you do not send in your goals, you are not going to be added on that group of leaders. But the question is, Mr. Emma, how far with the goals that you wrote in December 2024? The question is, Dorcas, you were part of that meeting, how far? I remember, I'm not going to mention, but I remember seeing those beautiful goals. The question is, have you given up on them yet? Because the year is still going. So today we are going to look at the journey from just being a dreamer. Don't just dream. Don't be this person who just puts up something. You tell yourself, I'm going to do this, but it ends up not being done. You have to go and get it. And that's why we are talking about the journey from being a dreamer to being a go-getter. Of course, the first thing is you have to discover your dreams. I remember when I joined network marketing for the first time, they told me that if you join this business and you do not have a force or a reason as to why you're doing the business, in most cases you will not go very far. Did you know that? You will not go very far. Why? Because you are going to treat the business casually. Every time you wake up in the morning and you don't have something you're chasing. Every time you wake up in the morning and you're like, it is business as usual. Oh, but Uganda, we have to be at office for cell training. Yes, you come for cell training. Before you know it, you're in the 9 a.m. meeting. Before you know it, midday. Before you know it, in the evening, you're going home. The same thing, week after week, week after week, week after week. A year is going to end, and you'll be the people regretting why you joined OQATA. You'll be the person who go outside and start telling people that OQATA does not work. But the question is, OQATA does not work, or you're the one who did not work? You appearing here and showing up on a daily does not guarantee you results. So the first thing towards achieving your dreams is knowing your why and make sure that it is worth fighting for. When I began network marketing, all I wanted was to survive. I remember I was staying in a self-confused house. I remember there are days I could not afford rent. But most importantly, there are very many months and days when I could not afford a single meal. I could go to bed hungry. I could wake up hungry. And the moment I started my business, my biggest why was to be able to afford 3 meals a day. Only 3 meals a day. Your why does not have to be so big. Your why does not have to be immediately because you have seen someone else drive a car. That's what also automatically you want to drive. Because you have seen someone travel, you also tell yourself, I had that one. In the next 6 months, I must be traveling. No. There are those small whys that you have to begin with at first. Some of you, it could be moving to a better house. I was living in a self-confused house. All I wanted is to be able to wake up in the morning and be able to go in my own bathroom, not a public shared bathroom. Mumanyi those slums, those bathrooms, how they be. You enter when someone has just finished entering, it is a mess. I just wanted the small things, afford 3 meals a day, be able to get into a better place. I didn't have dreams of driving a car. You're not affording a meal of 5,000 and you're thinking of a car of 30 million. You have to first start small. And after achieving those small goals and those small dreams, that's how you start going in for the big dreams. Then the next thing is that take your why and create smart goals centered around your goal. This one I'm not going to discuss so much about it because it is what they talked about in the what? In the script of today. Let your goals be specific. Let them be measurable. Let them be realistic. Let them be time-bound. When do you want to achieve them? Can you be able to measure them? That's why if you have attended the presentation, I always say, I want to drive a Mercedes-Benz GLE 63 AMG 4matic. I am very, very specific in what I want. So let your goals be smart and let them be centered around your goal. If you're a parent and you want to take your children to school, number one, know how much is the school fees. When do the teachers need it? If your child is paying 500,000, how many products could you be able to sell to make a profit of 500,000? Or how many people do you need to get on your team to be able to get? That is only one premium. And when you're going outside there, you know in your mind that this is what I am chasing. Then create a vision board or a dream map that is very visible for you to see on a daily. This one, I am an advocate of a vision board. The other day I was, not a surprise, but when I was in the CEO's office, for those of you who have entered, his vision board is there. And that vision board has been there since we were in our previous company. And I always tell myself, there is a day I woke up in 2016 and I created a vision board. I remember I wanted, because by then I had started making 1 million shillings per week, meaning food was no longer a problem. I had shifted from the self-confused house to self-contained house. I had purchased my first car. The moment I started solving my small problems, now I started looking at the bigger goals. Like now wanting to buy a car, because since now I was in a self-contained house, I didn't want to move out when I'm smart and I'm entering a taxi with bed bags. Now I wanted to be able to go into my own car. So the dreams started changing. As you make more money, the dreams start doing what? Changing. So I sat down in 2016, put things on my dream board. I remember I put there, I wanted to take my parents for hijab. I put there, I wanted to travel to Dubai. I remember putting there that hotel, the Burj Al Arab Hotel, the one which is almost in a shape, those of you may know it, Burj Al Arab, the one which is in the middle of the ocean. Then I put there, fly Dubai as an aeroplane. I put there that I wanted to build a house. I put there I wanted to drive good cars. I put there I wanted to build, rentals. Most of the people who looked at my dream chart, I remember some of them laughing, saying, but Hajara, are you mad? Do you think you can be able to achieve these things? I told them, watch me. There is no one who will believe in the beauty of their dreams more than you. Sometimes people will mock you. Sometimes people will tell you that it is not possible. Show them that you can do it, and actually show them that it is possible. So when I wrote down all those dreams, people started laughing at me. I remember in the office I used to sit in, whenever they would look at it, they would say, this one is just running mad. Let me tell you, by the end of 2016, I remember going on a solo trip to Dubai. And that had become a reality. 2017, I took my father for hijab in Mecca. He came as a Hajj. Yes, I would not take my mother immediately, but 2023, my mother also happened to go to Mecca and she became a Hajjat. When you sit down and write that dream board, it is not a must that you have to achieve those dreams next month, next year. It took me about 8 years to have achieved about 80% of my dreams that I had put on that dream board. I put there I wanted to build a house. Guess what? In 2018, I bought a 3-bedroomed house. Yes, I had put that I wanted an 8-bedroom. But I bought a 3-bedroom. I put there I wanted to travel the world. I started traveling. I put there that I wanted to drive big cars. I remember I bought a Pajero Mitsubishi. Today I'm driving my 3rd car because of network marketing. But do you know how it started? From a vision board, which was pinned right on my bedroom door. That when I wake up, it is the first thing that I see, and when I'm going to sleep, it is the last thing that I see. I always tell people that by the way, bintu mubizanyira mu bino ebintu bya vision board ne dream boards bikola. They work. It doesn't matter whether it takes you 10 years. It doesn't matter whether it takes you 5 years. But trust me, those dream boards work. I'm a true example of vision boards working. Are we together? Oh yes. So let us look at building your confidence mindset and skill set. They have put for us the OQATA self-talk. So you're going to sing and believe in your OQATA self-talk like your 10 commandments of the Bible. Most of us, we know, thou shalt not kill. Most of us say, love your neighbor as you love yourself. That even when you're waking up from your sleep and they tell you, recite the 10 commandments of the Bible, they are on the top of your what? Your mind. It is going to be the same thing that you're going to do with the self-talk of OQATA. I recommend the products daily. I add names to my name list. I believe in the future. I believe in my dreams. With OQATA and God by my side, I am going to achieve my dreams. As you're going down, sing it. As you're coming up, sing it. As you're sleeping, sing it. Let me tell you, one day you're going to come on this stage and testify when your dreams have become a reality. Develop a growth mindset and invest in personal growth. I always tell people that it does not benefit you to be negative. And when I tell you about to develop a growth mindset and invest in personal growth, I'll tell you a story of negativity. When we were returning, our flight was supposed to be on the 23rd. We were supposed to be at the airport. No, actually, let me tell you a funny story. So, when you get a Schengen visa, Schengen means you can access all countries in Europe. When I reached in Europe, of course, I had to spend more days in Italy, which was the embassy that gave me the visa. But when you reach, you can be able to travel to other countries. You don't need a visa. You can go to France, you can go to France, you can go to Netherlands, you can go to Belgium, you can go to Germany by just crossing, taking a train. So I remember booking a plane ticket. I wanted to go to France. I booked it I wanted to spend the whole day in France on the 22nd. I just wanted to go have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in France, and then come back in the evening. But somehow, somewhere, my flight left me. I was supposed to come back on the 23rd to Uganda. I wanted to spend the 22nd in France, but unfortunately, the flight was at 6 a.m. in the morning on the 22nd, and our return from France was at 10 p.m. in the evening. But the flight left me. I had already paid everything. The flight went. I reached at the gate. They said, "We are sorry, the flight has already taken off." Someone else would have sat there and started crying and started doing ABC. I told myself that God has willed it. Maybe there's something He was preventing me from. Maybe if I had gone to Paris, maybe the flight coming back would probably have left me and I would have missed my flight back to Uganda. And it would have been more expensive. I said next time. I didn't see any negativity in it. I remember calling my husband, telling him, "You know what, the flight has left me." He's in Islam we say, "Ala tagera chibi." Waliwo ala kyalabye n'agamba, "Tokola ki? Togenda." I remember going back to the hotel where we were. I reached there, my friends were waiting for me, waiting for the good news. They were either waiting for us. Imagine, we were supposed to take off at 6 a.m. We reached France, that is Paris, at 8 a.m. in the morning. They were waiting for that message because they knew that probably we looked for Uber. Imagine osasude emitwalo 2 agakutwala ku airport, otuuse enyonyi ekulese, olina okuddamu oteekemu 2 agakukomyawo ewaka. Over 400,000+ in transport to and from the airport, and the plane has left you. But I didn't look at it in a bad way. Why? Because I saw positivity in everything. And imagine when we had just reached at the hotel, the flight sends us messages that your flight to Uganda has been cancelled and postponed from 7 a.m. on the 23rd to 11 p.m. on the 23rd. I said, wow. My friends started whining. One of them said, "Oh my goodness, I will have a wedding. I have this to attend." I said, for me, I was just there smiling. I said, even if they postponed it up to next month, I'm okay. But do you know what? We took it in good faith. We didn't say anything. We reached at the airport, checked in, everything. Guess what? As we were about to board, we hear our names being called out. Hajara Narada, na, we go. And they handed us hotel rooms. Ethiopian Airways had paid for us that when we land in Ethiopia, we were going to be given a free hotel with lunch and breakfast. So those of you who are following me on TikTok or WhatsApp, I've just posted. Let me tell you, for the years I had been passing through Ethiopia, I've passed through Ethiopia, going to Malawi, going to Botswana, going to Mozambique. Let me tell you, I had always stopped inside the walls of the airport. Because when you're in transfers, you cannot get out. This was the first time in many years that I had an opportunity to get out of the airport and go into Addis Ababa city. So can you imagine something happening, but something positive coming out of it? I walked out of the airport. The moment we reached, we went to the reception, gave in, they said, wait, the car is coming to pick you. They picked us, they took us to our hotel in Addis Ababa. I reached there, I'm like, wow. But do you know what is funny? Africa will always remain Africa. The same taxis knocking into each other, that's what I saw in Addis Ababa. So, when you have a positive mindset, nothing can stop you. Always see good in everything. Always see good in everyone. Avoid negative people. I know there are people who are in business, but their role is to come here, sit next to you, negatize you, tell you all the negative. My friend, the moment you always see this person, run away. Do not even walk, but run away. We know you. Those of you are negative. You're a member, but you're so negative. And you're the same person who will sit here and 5 years from now, you'll be telling us how OQATA did not work for you. While others are doing activities, for you're looking for the next victim to negatize. So you want to become successful in network marketing, you have to change your mindset. The mind is everything. What you feed it is what comes out. Are we together? Now, get mentors who will guide you where you seem lost. It is normal to feel down. It is normal to feel demotivated. It is normal to feel like you're not doing it right. Even myself, I feel low. There's sometimes I talk to my husband and I ask him, man, do you think this thing will work? And he says it will, but I've touched 100 million, but I'm asking if it will work. It is okay, but make sure that amidst all that, you get someone who will always tell you that, you know what, Kenneth, it is possible. You can do it. It is possible. Continue pushing. When you're feeling low, you run to this person. Are we together? So make sure that you have people who mentor you in the business. Then also become familiar with the daily core activities, for they will be your light in the dark tunnel. This one we have talked about it. The core activities, we know them. Prospecting, inviting, presenting, follow up, training. Because everything in this business depends on the daily activities. Okay. Then create your game plan and take off. Winners do not approach a task without a plan. Create a game plan for you and your team. If you want to see your team in this direction, how do you want them to get there? Or how would you like them to get there? Create a game plan for yourself. And I like the way some people, I remember especially Dorcas the other day, she said, let us sit down, we create a 90-day game plan. And she said, if you're in this program of the 90 days, the moment you miss out 3 times, you're dismissed. She's as serious as that. People sat down, she said at this time, everyone must have their 200 names. Everyone must add their names to this. Everyone must be at this time when we are making phone calls. At this time we must be outside there doing this. And I've been seeing them even when I was in Italy. I would see videos, I would see pictures, and she would send me and say, upline, we are here. Upline, we are doing this. Upline, we are doing this. And I would continue telling her, go for it, go for it, go for it. So have a game plan of where you want yourself and your team to be. Ensure your game plan is as basic as possible. Remember, it is not what works, but it's about what can be duplicated that matters. Don't make things very complicated. If you think that adding 10 names to your name list is very complicated, first begin with 2. If you think having 10 customers is very complicated, first begin with 1 and continue developing it slowly by slowly. You don't need to complicate anything. Network marketing is very easy for as long as you follow a few simple steps. If for you're saying, no, I cannot be able to add 5 names, start with 2, start with 1. And before you know it, you're going to be enjoying it as if you're eating food. Are we together? But most importantly, develop a daily to-do list of simple tasks that you want to achieve that jumpstart your day but lead to the optimization of the day. These ones in today's script, they were there. Mr. Elias gave us a whole script of how exactly this can be done. And I believe that we must have learned a lot from today's script, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Have an accountability partner who holds you accountable when you go astray. Have someone that you always talk to and tell them that, you know what, Kenneth, I want you to be my accountability partner. When you see me going astray, please push me back into line. Are we together? When you see this happening, please tell me that I'm not doing it right. When you see this happening, please tell me that I'm not doing it right. Sometimes, do you know that we don't believe in ourselves, but the people on our side believe in us. Sometimes we are comfortable. And it is the same way my sister, you've all seen her, she's now a platinum. But last month, I remember her giving up. How I asked her, how do you become a gold business builder on the 5th of the month and you're seated comfortably the next 25 days that you want to stay on gold? I asked her, are you okay? Go and push for your next step. She pushed. I continued to encourage. I didn't actually do anything. I didn't even give her 1 point. My role was just tell her, you're remaining with this. Me, I'm good at calculations of these titles. I'll just go and calculate times. I tell her, you're remaining with this amount of money. Push, you're remaining with this amount of money. Every time she put in an order, I would tell her, go calculate how many points divided by the CVs. I already have amount of money that is left to be bought. I would tell her, go and push. Call your ladies. Put incentives. And let me tell you, by the end of the month, on the last day, she was able to hit the platinum leader. We fought up to the last minute. But she said, I didn't know that I could be able to make this. Sometimes you don't know your potential until it is the only option you are left with. That's why you need a mentor. That's why you need someone who tells that, you know what? Mr. Hassan, Mr. John, it is possible. Some of us look at our points at our system, we don't even know what they mean. But you find that for you to even become a brass, you're only remaining like with 1 million, but you don't even know that you're remaining with 1 million. Because you're seeing the points and you're not understanding them. So get that person who understands the system. And always ask them, how do you think it is going? How do you think it is going? Are we together? So that is what it means to get someone who helps you and pushes you beyond what you believe that you can be able to do. But most importantly, always remember, it is not what you know that matters, but it is how much you do that counts. Gokubeera ng'omanyi tekigasa oba tewali gwe kigasa. For example, this is funny, but you can't believe that sometimes Mr. Elias comes to me and says, Hajara mpozi wano tukola batya ku system, but that is not important. It is not how much that I know about the system, for you're good at the system, for you're good at calculating these points, for you're good at, you know the scripts, you know the prospecting, but for as long as you're not doing the activities, that knowing will not help you. It is not how much you know, it is what you do that counts. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for the obstacles ahead. Understand that network marketing success is not a bed of roses. Some of you, when you see these things happening, you think, oh, kirabika byangu. It seems it is easy. It is never easy. It is never easy. And I want you to know that everything is not easy. Did you know that even chewing food is not easy? Someone the other day was saying that you have to chew food, is it 33 times, 32 times? But some of us, okuba yo nogonga wamizedda. Chitekeza, you're not following the what? The rule. It is not easy to chew food in your mouth for 33 times. So it is the same thing. When you see these things happening, you see, oh, Hajara has traveled. Oh, Madame Jalia just went for Umrah. Oh, the other person has done this. Oh, the other person has. Let me tell you, there is a price they had to pay at one time. And for as long as you do not pay that price yourself, trust me, you have to pay that price. Why wotoyina okusasula? Ngawe nabagamba, I had to sell my television to join network marketing, to raise the money. That is the sacrifice I had to make. I had to walk from Makerere Kagugube up to Ruumu Street to go for training. Nentambula wa Kagere. Nentuka ngengato yange jude nfuufu. That is the price I had to pay. But sometimes most of you, when you don't have transport, you sit at home and, oh, today it is not my day. You're okay. But guess what? Even Elias has made it easier. Our trainings are online. For us those days, we didn't have such kind of things. But remember, you have invited someone sometimes. You cannot delegate. You start calling your upline. Oh, upline, are you at the office? The upline says no. You call, are you at the office? No, because your guest has arrived and has no one to receive them. So network marketing is not a bed of roses. There are some sacrifices you have to do, whether it is that sleep, whether it is that going hungry. We have been hungry before. Myself, upline areas, we used to have a cup of tea and chindazi for lunch on Room Street. Netukuba wechikopo. After that cup of tea, netugenda netukuba chi amasimu. Don't see upline today as a CEO. Don't see upline today with all the cars that he's driving. We have seen him on zero. And we know that whatever he has today has been sacrifices. Sacrifice after sacrifice. 10 years from now, you want to live the kind of lives of the people that you admire, there are some things you're going to have to sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, the beauty about network marketing is every no or obstacle you face is getting you closer to your goal, but better yet, making you a better leader. Those days when I just began the business, every time someone would tell me no, I would even go back home and cry. I thought that everyone I tell about my business had to accept. I thought that every person I go and talk to about the product had to, to buy. But every time they said no, the first time I felt bad, the second time I felt like crying, but as it continued, no became a no, became a no, I said, wow, this is very normal. And remember that every no gets you closer to a yes for as long as you keep going. When someone tells you no, don't hold yourself and say, Sibyange, this is not for me. We have been rejected. We have been rejected in schools. We have been rejected by our partners. We have been rejected sometimes by our parents. You go and ask for a pen and your parent says, no, today I'm not giving you. Did the life end? No. So every no gets you closer to a yes and your goals. You need 3 P's in MLM. That is persistence, perseverance, and patience. Some of us want to join business today and we want to work tomorrow. No, that is not how it works. Patience. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the activities. Be patient with your uplines. Be patient with your downlines. Some of us want to sign up people today and we want results immediately. You'll be asking your downline, why are you not signing up people? Be patient with your leaders. There is this story from my former company of a gentleman that was called Mike Van Venter. a South African. This gentleman joined the business, I think, is Mr. Jimmy around? I think for like how many years? He never signed up anyone. The upliners didn't give up on him. They continued talking to him. They continued encouraging. Imagine, I want you to imagine having a downline and in a whole of 1 year they have not brought anyone. Some of you have already kicked their ass. But guess what? In 1996, this gentleman lands on a lady who had gone to visit South Africa. He tells her about the business. The lady embraces the business. And guess what? That same lady came to Uganda and got this couple, the couple that we always talk about, the Kanaakulias, Miriam and Sam Kanaakulia. They joined the business. Let me tell you, Mike Van Venter's business turned around. He was able to build one of the largest organizations here in East Africa. But after not sponsoring anyone for how many years? For quite a number of years. Imagine if the upline had given up on him. They were patient with him. They continued, talking to him. You can be able to do it. You can do this. You can do this. Today, the Kanaakulias are one of the largest shareholders of that company here in East Africa. Not shareholders in terms of that they own shares, but they own the biggest business, network marketing business. All of us have passed through their hands. Our Vice President, Mr. Saturday, our Vice President, Mr. Jimmy, our CEO, Mr. Elias, myself, and very many others, Madame Jalia, we have all passed through the hands of those two ladies. But even then, when they joined in 1996, business was not moving for them until their daughter came in the business in 2005. Imagine 1996 to 2005. Their daughter called Janet. When she joined, that is when actually those days network marketing was for the old generation. Janet and Andrew Bugembe revolutionized the network marketing in East Africa by showing the young people that we can also be able to do network marketing. Actually, I always tell people that if it was not for Andrew and Janet, most of us, the young people, would have never even known about network marketing. Kubanga ebiseera ebyo baali balowooza mujjukira time of Swiss Guard, Dynafarm, the old people were the ones doing what? Network marketing. But Janet and Andrew changed the game to show people that even the youth, when they were in their senior 6 vacation, joined network marketing, and today they are diamonds in their company. So practice the 3 P's. Be persistent. Be perseverant, but most importantly, practice patience. Just like in a gym, it's at that point of pain when you start to see you gain. Most cases when you start in the gym, you don't see the results immediately. So don't expect the same for network marketing. Do your activities. Feel like you're being pressed against a wall. Feel that you have done more. At that point when you're about to give up, that's when your business unfolds in a way that you least expect it. Always celebrate your wins. Part of overcoming obstacles is celebrating every landmark passed or overcame in your journey. Whether it is a sale, whether it is that first encashment, whether it is that first rank, whether it is your first sign-up, let me tell you, celebrate every win like it is the biggest win that has ever happened to you. Celebrate that win as if you have become a diamond. Celebrate that win as if you have won that car. And that brings me back to yesterday's training where Upline said that some of us, if you're not motivated by the small wins, how sure are you that you'll be motivated by the big ones? You want to first wait to earn the 500 million, to earn the 100 million, and you think that is when you're going to be excited. No. The excitement begins with the small wins. Are we together? So celebrate every win. Now, that brings me to the end of my presentation. And right now, I'm going to share with you something small about my trip. But for me, in all this that I've shared today about embracing obstacles, about your dreams, one thing that stands out for me is believing in yourself. Believing in yourself. It is said that the word obeys the tunes of that person who is always waiting for an opportunity. If you're always there, ready to embrace an opportunity, trust me, they will always show up. And that brings me to my journey. Most people have been asking me, Hajara, how did you come to go to Italy? Let me tell you, when the year began, I did not know that I was going to Italy. But when I was there in our family group, my brother posts, this amount of money to be paid. I asked, what is this about? He said, now, the founder of their school, I did not even go to that school. It is called Bishop Komboni, and then St. Mary's Changa in they call it what? Is it Nyamuhunga or something like that in Bushenyi as you're going to Bushenyi? The gentleman who founded those schools comes from Italy. So he left his home. Most of you are following me. You see, I was in the southern part of Italy most of the time, called Lamezia or San Pietro. So he left his home in the southern part of Italy, came to Uganda as a missionary, and built Bishop Komboni College in the 1982. Unfortunately, last year but one, was it last year or last year but one? One of the, because I didn't study from there, I don't even have the what, I don't have even the information. He happened to pass away. But imagine a missionary leaves his home, comes into a foreign country, establishes a system because he was a father, you know, Catholics? Yes, he was a father. So he wasn't married or anything. Comes, establishes a school, now it has grown, the school is so big. All my sisters, Jazira, Shamim, Hamis, my 5 siblings have all studied from that school. Me, I did not. By the time I was studying, my father had good money, so me, I studied from Kampala. So, here an opportunity avails itself. They say that the family of this father who founded this school is inviting 50 people, 50 OGs and OBs of that school to go and visit. And remember, even when this gentleman died, he said he wanted to be buried in Uganda. So he's buried there at Chamuhunga, Chamuhunga. He's buried at Chamuhunga, St. Mary's Chamuhunga, that is the school. So imagine, he became a missionary, sacrificed all he did, left his hometown. Even when he died, in his will, he said, I have to be buried in Uganda. That is Father Paulino. So now an opportunity appears, they are inviting people to go and pay a visit. Imagine he died from Italy. They transported the body, imagine, from your home all the way to Uganda where you founded schools. So they say they want students of this school to go and visit. I said, hey, the memo comes around, they wanted 50 people. I said, I'm not a student of there. But I said, I'm a guardian, because right now I'm paying school fees for my young sister. So I said, munteke o, nemba gama nange munfixinge o. Kati nembuza miss, miss olishua fe baba taliba OGs, they are going to consider us. And he says, as long as you have your money. I said, what money? They said, money for the ticket, money for the visa, money for sleeping in Rome, money. But when you finish, when you go to the south, when you saw me in the south, the family was taking care of everything. The cars you saw me going in, the Audis, the daughter, all that was being taken care of the family, from eating to sleeping. But when we were in Rome, we were taking care of ourselves. Now, opportunity comes for that who is prepared for it. A message appears on a family group. They wanted about 7 million per person. I said, put me in. I said, I am in. Because I had never seen an opportunity. Going to Europe, you cannot spend less than 10 million Ugandan shillings. And here an opportunity was appearing. You have to pay a small fee. To me, I call it a small fee, depending on how much you need to pay when you're there. I said, I'm in. They started on the process, but somehow when we started. I remember, of course, we had to go for visas. I had to come here, ask Manager Frank and our Soleil, Please help me with a recommendation letter. They need to know that I work here. You know those interviews at embassies, especially when you're going to Europe, a Schengen visa is very complicated to get. So I go through everything. The family was waiting for 50 people. Do you know how many of us arrived in Rome? We arrived 7 people. We arrived 7 people. Number one, most people were denied visas because they did not have bank accounts supporting their stay. But let me tell you, on the day of my visa, remember when I went to Mombasa, I arrived on the 19th and my visa was on the 20th. Went for the interview. Let me tell you, the moment this person who was interviewing us saw my bank statement, she asked me, what is OQATA? Because she was seeing OQATA 10 million, OQATA 99, OQATA. Let me tell you, she asked me, what exactly is OQATA and what does it do? A few weeks later, of course, when you go for the visa, you leave there your passport after the interview. What are you going to do in Rome? But you have invitations, you attach them. Out of 50 people that applied, only about 20 of us got visas. Over 30 people were denied because they didn't have bank statements supporting their stay in Italy. But even out of the 20 people, only the 7 of us arrived on the 6th in Rome. Ask me why. We hired a travel company that conned people. The guy conned people. Let me tell you, even on my last day of travel, I remember I woke up, prepared myself, I told some of my platinum men, like the Faridas, I'm going to eat and I'm going to see the Pope. And let me tell you, God creates things in a way. When we were planning for that trip, the Pope who died had not yet even died. Even on our itinerary, we had there Pope audience. We were supposed to see the Pope who passed away. But little did we know that the God was preparing us for a new Pope. So, on the day of travel, imagine you are smart and yourself. I remember I reached Karere. We had put in fuel. I was waiting. My brother, guess what? The travel company calls me. Hajara, we are sorry to tell you that your ticket won't work. Please wait up to tomorrow. That's when we are going to send you. And I told them, you're joking. I told them I am already at the airport. So do whatever you can in your power. Because I paid all the money you told me. You went and gave me a fake ticket, and right now you're telling me that my ticket cannot be able to travel, that I wait for tomorrow on what grounds? I told them I'm already at the airport. If you don't make me board that plane, which was leaving at 6:30, you're going to pay for my accommodation in where? In Entebbe, because I'm not going back home. I remember my husband, I had Shamim in the car, I had Azida in the car, were excited, the escort at Italian. All our excitement went down. My brother, he's what? What time is it, Hassan? What time? Oh, okay. So my brother, he's Kavuyo. He says, we go to the offices of the travel company. I told Hamis, it is not necessary. I told them, you know what, they were hungry. I promised we are going to first have some food at that mall is called what? Victoria Mall before. I told them, you know what, let us first go back to Wandega, KFC. We get some KFC. But let me tell you, when we entered KFC, they went upstairs to eat. I stayed downstairs in like, how will it be? I continue. The gentleman would say, your ticket is coming. In 10 minutes, 10 minutes becomes 1 hour. That's why they said when you have a flight, go as early as possible. Because I imagine if I'd left at home at 4 and the flight is at 6. I remember my husband and my sisters were up in KFC one day, they are eating their chicken, me I'm downwards, moving away. I called the gentleman 5 minutes. 5 minutes became 30. I told Aziz, Hamis came out. We go to the offices, blah, blah. I told my husband, let us drive and go to the airport. He said, but you cannot drive, we are going to waste fuel. I told him, are the petrol stations finished? We shall refill more fuel. Wow. For him, he looked at the fuel. For me, I looked at what? Us going, because I told him, what if that ticket is coming and it comes out at 5 p.m. and I'm not at that airport? How are we going to drive through the jam on the northern bypass to make sure that we catch up with Ethiopian Airways at 6 p.m.? He looked at me, he drove the car. We went all of us silent in the car because there was no ticket. Even we started calling people who knew, because I had the ticket, they had given me the ticket, but it was fake. I started calling people who were working in airline, sent them, they said, you know what, this ticket is fake. But I told Aziz, let us drive and go to the airport. Now, the gentleman had told me that me and some other lady our tickets. So I called this lady, I asked her, Jennifer, where are you? I didn't even know her. We made friends at that time. She said to me, I'm at the airport. The gentleman is lying to us, blah, blah, blah. We continued calling. We drove up to the airport. When we reached the airport, I remember it was around 3. We left my luggage. All the excitement was down and gone. We left my luggage in the car. First came upstairs at the entry. Found there the other lady, we talked. She said, my goodness, as we saw, imagine out of the 7, 5 are the ones who had good tickets. As we saw them pass by. On the group, people were like, what is happening? On the group, most people were postponed. I hear up to tomorrow. For me, I said, I am not going tomorrow. I am going now. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, at 4:30, 2 hours to boarding the plane, a call comes in with my ticket. I told my husband, go and get my luggage, and my brother. Let me tell you, I entered that airport with majestically. I didn't say anything, I just bid farewell, we took pictures. Then I later asked my sister, what did Aziz say when you guys were going home? And they told me that my husband made this statement, that there is the way God shows up for this lady at the even less expected times. Oh, yes. That was a statement from my husband. Even when I wasn't done. There's the way he always shows. My husband had given up, there was no Italy. I told him I'm going to Italy. Actually, he's among the people whose visa was denied. Sorry to say that. We were supposed to travel together. But when the visa came out, he was asking me, so are you going to go? Since mine has been there, I told him I'm already in Italy. I told him I reached Italy a long time ago. Let me tell you, to know that this trip was as if it is cast. We reach at the machines, until the machines go off. So they had to give you your ticket or your boarding pass by writing on it. They write on it, you go in. So you had no seat number, you had no nothing. So when you reached boarding, they said those who had already been issued boarding passes by the system, please board. Then the rest of us who didn't have, they said just go inside and take up any seat you find. Let me tell you, I'm still coming. We travel, we reach Ethiopia. From Ethiopia to Italy, it is 6 hours. We drive as you're seeing, man, you're entering Europe for the first time, you're excited. Of course, you reach there, you take pictures. Welcome to Rome. Let me tell you, little did I know that another nightmare was beginning. As luggage came out, people were picking their luggage. My luggage went missing. Me and the lady whom they issued tickets at last. So we had no luggage. But there is the way God was speaking to me. In my entire traveling, I had never moved with hand luggage. You know that small suitcase which they allow you to put inside the plane? But this time there's the way something was talking to me. It said, pack a little bit of few outfits, put them in that suitcase, and I traveled with it. Reaching Italy, no luggage, nothing. I said, what is this? The trip that had been now started exciting, mood low again. We had to go at the claiming, which they ask you, where are you going to stay? Leave phone numbers, blah, 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 da, 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 da. My luggage arrived 7 days later. When I was already in the southern Italy. But do you know that even when my luggage, now the moment the airline called the Father Pascalino, where we were staying, that some of us had lost our luggage, they prepared for us clothes. They said, we know there are 2 of you have lost your luggage. We found a lot of clothes. I went in and picked and picked and picked. My goodness, now I said, this is an opportunity in disguise. So So it was a story for another day. To know that this trip was somehow cursed. The people who were told they will come back, they will be traveling tomorrow, they never saw tickets, they never saw anything. The gentleman had duped people 100 million Ugandan shillings. Even us who had traveled to Italy, they called us and they said, you may not return because we are going to cancel your tickets. The gentleman did not pay. He used the system of the travel company, but he didn't pay. We had to put in another money. Let me tell you, it was a tug of war, but finally, we were in Italy, we were happy, we were excited, because imagine that was me on the streets of the Vatican City. Let me tell you, I was there. We arrived this day, then we met there. We had a father we were communicating with, he was called Father Casivante. He's from Masaka. He took us. We arrived like this in the Vatican, the St. Peter's Square. And then they said, a new pope now. Are you seeing that church behind me right here? That church behind that is what we call the Sistine Chapel. The Sistine Chapel is where, when a pope has died, they gather cardinals from all over the world. So 130 cardinals were gathered and locked inside the Sistine Chapel until a new pope is chosen. If you're a Catholic here and I make a mistake, you correct me. But I know that when they are choosing a pope, it is also more like an election. Abantu bakulondo nonyo obululu nogamba banange nkubira akalulu naye ate bangamba that most people don't want to become, because the popeship comes with a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes you have to abandon your family, there are some things you want to do. So as we were there, we were excited in the Vatican City. Very many people, as you can be able to see. Are you seeing some red thing like on top of me there? When the Pope is chosen, that is where the Pope appears and addresses the audience. Unfortunately, that day, the black smoke came out. So when they failed to choose a new Pope inside the conclave, they call it the conclave, they come and they bafulumya omuka gwa black nga kitegeeza pope takoze eki talondeddwa. So that day we didn't see, they said the pope has not been chosen, so we went back. So you continue coming and coming until the white smoke comes out. And let me tell you, we came back the following day, we were so happy. Twali tulyawo nga tumane kigenda mu maaso ne tulaba ng'omuka gufuluma gwa white nga people excited. So after the muka nga gumaze okufuluma, the Pope, the Vatican is a country on its own. Yes. It is not part of Italy, like it is. Okay, history says that Mussolini, that the Pope took refuge in the Vatican, and then Mussolini granted the Vatican as a sole state. So even you can see the walls that separate the Vatican from the rest of Rome. So that is why the Pope is like the head of the Vatican country. So when the white smoke came out, we were excited, people were happy. Then there is what we call the Camarengo. The Camarengo is the one who comes out on that balcony few hours later and said, Habamas Pope, we have got a new Pope. Then everyone is excited. Now there's this Pope everyone was rooting for from the Philippines. Everyone knew that this Pope from the Philippines is done. Like no one expected Leo the 14th to be the Pope, especially an American. So as we were there, people were saying, okay, whom do you expect to be the Pope? Whom do you expect to be the Pope? Even when the Camarengo announced we've got a Pope, then he mentions the name of the Pope. No one even heard which name he had mentioned. Everyone was like, what did he say? What did he say? Even the whites, everyone. Until the Pope came out. I saw him with my own 2 eyes. Wow. All the cardinals came out and lined up on the different doors and then waited for the Pope to come out. The guy came out, blessed everyone. I also received the blessings, of course, on behalf of you. He said, wow. I am not Catholic, but let me tell you, it was a moment of, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And let me tell you, if it was Mecca, I would have come back as a Hajjat. So right there, I was in the Vatican, and then, of course, that is the Sistine Chapel, and then I was able to travel and see different parts of Rome. That is one of the statues of the list of names of the people who fought to the World War. Basically, Italy is an old city that has old memories. I saw where King Caesar was assassinated. I saw where the Romans used to fight. Let me tell you this one here. Right there. Now that one there, the Colosseum, is one of the 7 wonders of the world. One of the 7 wonders of the world. I saw it with my own eyes. Let me tell you, that Colosseum was built in the 1st century. Right now we are in the 21st century, but it was built in the 1st century, where wars were fought. Battles like gladiators. Those of you who have watched Gladiators, who have watched the fall of the Roman Empire, those who have watched, is it the Spartacus, you saw how animals, a lot of people died from that place there. And that is why it is put in the books as one of the 7 wonders of the world. Of course, I also happened to visit the Fountain of Wishes. You go, when you go on that fountain, you throw a coin in the fountain and you make wishes. It is believed that your wishes can be able to come true. Right here, I was in the southern part of Italy, even in the corner. I was at the Tyrrhenian Sea. Let me tell you, travel the world and enjoy what the world can do. What was once a dream, today is a reality. But it did not start now. It started a long time ago. I dreamt, I saw, and it happened. I dreamt, I worked, because you don't go in those places when you have nothing. You don't just wake up and go to the airport when you have nothing. And it is said that every dreamer was just a person who one day woke up and decided that they will not just stop on dreaming, but achieving. Whatever you are doing today, whatever dream that you have today, make sure that every activity you do, every day that you wake up, you work towards that dream. I never knew that at one time I would be, even when I was in Italy, I was not believing that I am in Europe. You may look at it as another, but I was in Europe. That is my second continent to travel to. My first continent was Asia. Now I have been able to travel to Europe. I saw amazing things. I saw old cities. I saw beautiful things there. And I said, this is what every distributor at OQATA Wellness Solutions deserves to achieve. And I know, of course, with OQATA and God by our side, we are going to achieve our dreams. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.